Hey there everyone! Today I am doing a huge and long overdue kitchen purge. It may look clean to you, but do not be deceived. There is a lot of junk behind those cupboards and I cannot wait to get rid of some of it. I am trying out a brand new system for minimalism today and I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all about it, how it works for me, and hopefully how it can work for you too. So I've been watching this new YouTube channel lately called The Minimal Mom, and I have become completely obsessed with it. I don't know if you've seen it before. It's certainly a way more popular channel than mine. I will link it for you in case you feel like checking Dawn out. And it's really just helped to change my perspective on a few things. As you guys know, I love to live on less, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself a minimalist, but I can definitely see the value in a lot of things she has to say. Personal confession, I do struggle with anxiety, and I just find that learning how to declutter my home and create spaces that are just more quiet in terms of stuff really helps me feel less anxious. When we built our home a few years ago, I did purge a lot of our kitchen stuff before we moved, but there was definitely things that came with us that honestly, I have not used at all since we moved 4 years ago. So I am trying out Minimal Mom Dawn's system today and let's see how it works. Okay, I'm gonna start with what I feel is the hardest part of my kitchen to tackle, and that is this scary corner over here. It started out as what was supposed to be a really cool coffee bar and has turned into a catch-all for electronics, important papers, planners, pens. It's just not how I want it to look. I definitely want to change things up. And I figure by starting with the hardest corner of the kitchen, it will give me the confidence to keep going with the rest of it. Okay, so I am starting with this little device right here, our Tassimo coffee maker. Now, one thing watching The Minimal Mom that has come up again and again is don't have things out that you don't use on a regular basis. And you guys are probably gonna find this really funny, but my husband and I don't drink coffee. And why in the world do we have like prime real estate in our kitchen used up by a coffee maker and Tassimo pods? To be honest, I like to host people and I want to be a good hostess and have coffee always available for our guests. But what I have found is that this coffee maker actually only gets used maybe a couple times a year. So it's probably good to have it, but do I need it out on my counter each and every day? No. So I would like to find a spot in our cupboard or in storage to put this, which means I have to clean out some cupboards to make space for it, which means I'm gonna have to get rid of some stuff. So my hope is that these cupboards right here could hold my coffee maker, and inside of them right now is just like a whole bunch of coffee cups and tea. And actually, there has never been a time, never, ever, ever, where all of these coffee cups have been in use at one time. Honestly, I could probably keep maybe 10 or 12 and get rid of the rest or donate them. So let's see what I can do about that right now. Okay, that only took me about 5 minutes and I found a whole lot of mugs and different tchotchkes in there that I don't really need or want anymore. I want you guys to think for a minute about how much stuff you keep for sentimental value and do you really need that? For example, I have this mug from, this is an elementary school I went to that has since closed, and I was keeping it because I have so many good memories of that school. But do I really need this mug to remember my school? I have yearbooks, I have pictures, I have already lots of memories from that school. I think the Wallace Wildcats can be donated. Next, even scarier, the basket of junk. I shouldn't say junk because it is all essential items. I have my daily planner and meal planning book in here. I have important papers. I have pens in case I ever need one. But I'm really starting to realize how stressful it is when you see that as soon as you come into your kitchen. I'd much rather have like a pretty candle there or one of my nice recipe books out on display. Is there a way I can have this basket of important things behind a closed door that I will still see it? So one thing Dawn recommends is just try it. Just try it for a few weeks. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make some room in my cupboard and get rid of some things I don't need, and I'm gonna try having my essentials basket behind a cupboard door. If in a few weeks I realize that's not working and there's important stuff in there that I forgot about because I wasn't seeing it when I walk into the kitchen, I can always move it back out onto the counter, but I'd like to give this a try. I would like to store it in this cupboard, which is very scary looking. If you want to see, it's just a bunch of recipe books and odds and ends, and I'm just wondering, can I get rid of a bunch of this stuff and put my basket there instead? So I already found something that I don't want in my cupboard, I want out on display. And that is my recipe book holder. It's made of bamboo, as well as my current favorite recipe book, Magnolia Table. I will link both of these below in the description box for you in case you want to get them for yourself. I think I'm gonna put these where the coffee maker was, because it brings me a whole lot more joy than a coffee maker I never use. Wow, so in going through that cupboard, I realized that I have so many recipe books that I never ever use. Rule of thumb here is if you have not used something in the past year or two, chances are you don't need that item. And I had so many little recipe books, like the ones that came with my blender or my bread maker or my waffle iron, that I definitely don't use. And guys, in the day and age where literally any recipe is at your fingertips online, I don't think I need to have 30 recipe books anymore. So I was completely ruthless and I got rid of more recipe books than I kept, and it kind of feels good. So that gave me space to put my kind of junk basket up there, but instead of just shoving the junk basket up there, I really feel like I need to go through it, get rid of anything that doesn't need to be in there, and if something has a home that doesn't need to be in that basket of important stuff, then those items need to be put away somewhere else. Why in the world do I have a metronome in here? This belongs in the music room. Oh look, it's that Christmas light timer that my husband was looking for. It's probably been in here for about a year. Okay, is this not terrifying? I am so embarrassed. How in 4 years has this become such a pile of junk? Oh no, this is gonna take me forever to go through. Whew, deep breath, I can do this, you guys. Okay, you guys, I don't bear all the blame in this. I am finding a lot of little spare parts, tools, light bulbs, golf. I have no idea what this is. There's a whole lot of stuff in this basket that I have not put there that perhaps the man of the house has put there. So I'm just gonna set it all aside and he can deal with it. Also wondering why my daughters have so many hair elastics and things in here, or Barbie shoes for that matter. Writing materials that do not need to be in here. I've got markers, pencil crayons, and pencils, which are clearly all belonging to my children. They have their own bucket for this in our office, so I'm gonna put these in there and only keep pens in my basket. And then what I'm going to do is take literally over half of the pens that were in this basket, and I'm going to put them in my office because they're all pens that work. And this means that when these pens all dry out, I never need to buy another pen, probably for the next 10 years. So look at that, saving money right here. So what is going to go back into this basket? Well, I'm simply going to have my pens and my planner. It's not a whole lot that's going to be in there, and I'm hoping that by keeping it tucked away in my cupboard, it's not going to become a catch-all bin anymore for all of my kids and my hubby to just throw random items when they want to clean them up, instead of putting them away where they're supposed to go. Wow, I feel so much better about this corner. Doesn't it look much more calm and peaceful, you guys? I can't believe it took me so long to realize what things are essential to me and what things really aren't. So you can see here I've got a growing pile of things I'm going to either donate or toss on my counter. And the next thing I'm going to tackle is basically all my drawers and my cupboards in this side of my kitchen. And I'm going to take out any little gadgets or excess dishes that I really feel we don't need in our family. And while you watch me do that, please migrate below and give this video a thumbs up if you're getting any value out of it. Okay, whoa, I've got a good start here. There are definitely things that I do not use at all, that I don't need in my kitchen. Looking through, I have little gadgets I bought at kitchen parties, and some of them, like this one right here, I don't even know what that is. If I don't know what it is and I've never used it, why is it taking up so much space in my kitchen drawers? Or this one right here is for like taking a zucchini and turning it into noodles or different things like that. Literally, I've used it twice. I didn't really enjoy it, so I'm not gonna be using it anymore. Pie plates. I love to bake pies, but do I need so many pie plates? I looked through my collection and I figured that, you know what, I've never really made more than 4 pies at a time for any sort of gathering, and I don't think I will in the future. So I'm actually getting rid of 3 pie plates that I think I could take to Goodwill, and someone maybe who's just starting out their kitchen, there you go, there's some cheap pie plates for them. Lots of odds and ends in our water bottle drawer. We have a large collection of water bottles in our family. I mean, there's 8 of us, so we do all need, I figure, 1 water bottle as well as a spare when the other one is getting washed. But these ones were kind of like broken or not the right size or color anymore for my kids, so getting rid of those. Baby spoons, same story. I am keeping some of our special baby spoons for when I have grandkids someday, but I don't need all of them, right? This little container, it's a great size for leftovers, but what I have been finding is that when I keep leftovers in containers that have a solid lid inside, I have no idea what's in there and it never gets eaten. So I think it's best to pass that on, and we'll just put our leftovers in clear mason jars or things that I can definitely see what is in there. And this is a electric bread slicer. Now, let me know in the comments below if you tend to accumulate gadgets that you also have something in your kitchen that you could do it manually with, but you just bought the gadget because you thought it was easier. What I've discovered is, yeah, an electric bread knife is awesome, but I have an actual bread knife that I use more often and it's almost easier to use. I also use this for cutting up cheesecakes and other things like that. So this takes up a lot less space in my drawer than the electric bread knife does. So I'm gonna donate that one. Okay, so this corner of my kitchen is what I would call maybe like, this is where the rubber hits the road, okay? Because there are things on this counter that I have to make a decision, keep or not, because it's getting too cluttered. Now there's certain things on here that are essential. For example, fire extinguisher, essential, yes. Paper towels, yes, I would call that essential. But what about my bread maker? This bread maker is amazing. It can cook a really huge loaf of bread, and my husband got it for me as a gift. I think hoping and thinking that I would use it every day, and I would be making homemade bread every day for my family, just like his mom did for him growing up. But reality check. I have 6 children, I have a lot going on in my life, and this bread maker only gets used maybe a couple times a year. And do you know what I've discovered, you guys? Just like some of our like electric devices, like the electric bread knife, I can make homemade bread without a bread maker. People have been doing it for thousands of years. And in fact, this year I have made homemade bread without my bread maker. I've made homemade pizza dough without my bread maker. And guess what? It basically takes the same amount of time and it's almost as easy. I mean, there's a bit of kneading involved and you have to actually turn your oven on and put the bread in, but it's not that hard to do. And I don't think I need this huge hunk of a device on my countertop taking up precious space when I hardly ever use it. So I am hoping that this is just gonna make somebody's Christmas this year when they get a free bread maker, because I'm gonna give this away for free to one of my friends or family who has always wanted a bread maker. So Merry Christmas to whoever that is. All right, next I'm dealing with the cupboards right back here. You see these glass front cupboards? It is full of pretty things, but a lot of things I don't use. I would love for every one of you to comment down below, what is the one thing in your kitchen that you literally never use, but you can't find it in your heart to get rid of? If I could guess, it's probably something along the lines of, this is a fancy platter that my great grandma passed down to me, and you don't use it because you don't want to break it, or you just never have a fancy occasion to use it. And I'm about to tell you what it is that I have that pretty much never gets used. You ready for it? It is my wine glasses. So, personal story about our family. If you've never watched the channel before, you may not know that we are an adoptive family, and several of my adopted children have been affected by fetal alcohol, and they come from a past of alcoholism and addiction. So you can imagine in the past number of years, the amount of social drinking that happens in our house is pretty much zero. So I have wine and cocktail glasses here, you know, thinking when I bought them that they would be for guests when they come over. But if I'm honest, more often at our house, we're serving lemonade or iced tea. And pretty much the only thing I use these glasses for is for floating rosebud clippings in the summer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to keep a couple, but I don't need a full set to entertain a party of 12, okay? I just don't. They look really pretty in my cupboard, but I have other pretty things I'd rather display. And as Dawn from Minimal Mom would say, even if it's something that's tucked away in your cupboard, it's still stuff that you have to keep inventory of, that you have to be a caretaker for. And if we ever move from this house, it's just more stuff you have to move. So I'd rather just pare it down to what we actually need and use. There, I'd say that's a much more manageable amount. I just kept 6 glasses and they all fit here on one little shelf. We got these banana split containers from my husband's company for Christmas one year. My children enjoyed these for many years, but now that they're older, we just tend to get out a bowl to have ice cream sundaes, so hopefully these will make somebody very happy who finds them at Goodwill. And then what about things that you're just not sure of? I have these cute little cream and sugar containers, but I have 3 sets of cream and sugars, and as I already mentioned, we're not coffee drinkers, so we might use these for tea or when company comes over. But one thing that Dawn from Minimal Mom had recommended was to put things in quarantine if you're not sure. So great idea during a pandemic when we're all talking about quarantining anyway. So basically the idea behind it is if you don't think you can part with it just yet, pack it away, box it away, live without it for a while, and see what you think. If you go back to that item in 6 months and you're like, I didn't really miss it and I think I can get rid of it now, then you can go ahead and give it on. So I think that's what I'll do with these. I'm going to tackle my corner cupboards down here that are kind of like the junk basket of cupboards. So I had my junk basket earlier. These cupboards are kind of the same deal. They're just where I throw extras that I'm not sure where it would go. And I think I have a lot of things in there I don't really need. While I'm working away here, just a heads up if you haven't seen them before, I've done a couple other declutter my house videos. One was my basement rec room toy room, and another was my master bedroom, closet, and ensuite. So if you wanted to watch those at all, I'll link them at the end of this video, but they're also going to be in the description box below. Wow, a lot of treasures in there, a lot of aha moments of, I didn't realize I had this. One of the things I found was a little crock pot that holds hot dip, which is really useful actually when you have people over. But what I discovered was I have 2. One of which I've never used. It's a really cute little stainless steel one. And I don't need 2 of them, so I'm going to get rid of one and bring that stainless one to the front so I can see it, so I can use it and enjoy it when company is over. Also, just a few random things like a waffle maker. I don't know why we still have this. It's too small for us. We ended up buying a much bigger one for our large family, so I'm going to give that one away. And last but not least, my pantry cupboards. I do try to keep a good handle on things through really strict meal planning so that stuff doesn't build up in my cupboards. I'll link my meal planning video for you if you're interested, but there are things in here that, what was I thinking when I got it? Maybe it was a free sample that are expired. So I'm gonna go through, get all of that junk out. It's gonna make me feel so much better. Okay, done. I cannot believe how good that feels, how much lighter I feel. I also cannot believe how much stuff I'm going to get rid of or throw out. How is it possible I had this many things in my cupboard that I don't need or use? I don't know. I have a pretty big island and it is overflowing with items. So did this encourage you guys at all? Did it give you the confidence to try this yourself at home? I mean, it really does feel like I feel lighter. As I already mentioned, here are those videos where I'm decluttering other areas of my house. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you there in the next video, you guys. For the least, this is Jen.